Welcome to Thrones and Scones. I feel like there should be like beautiful angel triumphant like horns and shit behind me like brah. Can somebody make horns with their mouth? It's your weekday morning podcast where it was supposed to be a continual thing. It's fine. Where we talk about Game of Thrones over breakfast. It is Tony Hans and Jeremy in with you here on this Friday, along with our longtime returning friend, Rob Bullock from And Rob Is Your Uncle. I'm not going to make the same mistake that I did last time that Rob was on and ask him if he's still an uncle, because I realized that can only be
murder.
Like decent at best and catastrophic at worst. So, hi, Rob. We'll just make an assumption that you're still probably going strong. Welcome. Thanks again for joining us ahead of what is about to be a pretty crazy weekend.
No problem. I'm glad to be here. I'm ready. I'm ready to speculate the shit out of this.
Let's speculate the shit out of Game of Thrones.
Indeed. We tackled on Wednesday all of the conspiracy theories along with our friend Casey. And today we are going to actually make our individual and collective predictions as to what may and may not happen during season 8 of Game of Thrones, which is all of 2 days away. I am giddy. I am over the moon excited. I'm also not wearing any underwear right now. It has nothing to do with any of this, but it is true, and I just felt like you guys should know since we're staring at each other's eyes. I just wanted that to be very clear.
I'm staring at all of your eyes, but you can't see mine. So that's very nice for me. I'm probably naked right now, and you guys wouldn't know.
Fingers crossed. Well, we just get to speculate then, since it's the theory of the whole episode. Like, oh my, let's see, are those nipple rings, Rob? And a set of chains connecting them?
I wish I had some chains in here so I could just like move it around, jingle them a little bit.
Rattle your nipples for me, boy. Oh, guys. So, I mean, what do you think? You guys think you're going to watch the new season on Sunday?
No, probably not. I'm a little thronesed out.
Yeah, it's professional hazard.
Yeah.
Today I got asked probably one of the most annoying questions I think ever when you watch a great show and someone's like, "Oh, like I want to get into it. Do you think I have to watch it from the beginning?"
Yeah.
And I was like I don't like. I'm like, you realize I do a podcast, like that's how much I like this show and like how interesting I'm in this. So, but then he's like, oh yeah, but if you had to like say like what was the important parts to watch, what would you watch? And I was like, he's an attending, he's an MD, so I can't be like, I fucking hate you kind of right now. But yeah, so I was sitting there having this conversation with him and a fellow resident who was like, oh, I watched Game of Thrones. I don't think you need to watch all of it. I just like kind of looked at this bitch and I'm like, you fucking shouldn't talk to me. But what would you say is, because not in a sense, I told him like, no, from season 1, watch the entire way through. There are some episodes that kind of get a little slow, but still I feel like you can fast forward. You don't need to necessarily like skip them. I wouldn't skip any episode because I do feel like there's something in every episode that's worth catching. But what would you say is the episode that you would say this is Game of Thrones? Like this is why I would watch the Game of Thrones, or why I would have you watch Game of Thrones.
It is tough because I mean there's a lot of episodes that have this epic quality to them we've talked about, but Game of Thrones is maybe more than most things I watch on TV such a narrative thing with a lot of characters.
Yep.
And if you just kind of skip around, you not only are seeing people you don't know, you're in arcs that you're unfamiliar with, and you know they take a relatively long time to tell these stories. You try to bounce around into the exciting bits, you're just going to be lost constantly. But I would say, as we kind of touched on in season 6, Battle of the Bastards is kind of, it has enough of a epic quality where if you're going to show somebody it, they're going to be like, oh shit, they're going to be engrossed in it, even though they don't understand necessarily what's going on. There's going to be enough twists that even if they don't get like the nuance behind Littlefinger showing up with the Knights of the Vale, it's still a big thing. It's got epic moments in it. And then it does just kind of, as you learn more about the, sadism? I don't know the word there. The sadistic nature of Ramsay. It kind of fleshes that out a bit. When you learn more about what Jon has just been through in the past season, it fleshes that out a little bit. But if there's anything, especially if it's not in the first season, I think it's probably that.
I feel like with the Battle of the Bastards, though, if you were like your guest that was on who never watched it before, that said that he enjoyed it right off the bat, he had a little bit of knowledge going in, right?
Yes.
I feel like if you were going into that episode with no knowledge, there's a good chance you might think Jon is kind of the bad guy because of how, like, with how he treats, like, with the stuff that happens to Ramsay. Yeah, Ramsay's a little bit of a cocky bastard in that, but we don't see if you're just watching the Battle of the Bastards, you do not see this extent of which Ramsay is a bad guy.
That's true. That is very true.
So
other than maybe the arrow scene of him just messing with
right,
Rickon,
but if like, let's say those, like, they're walking in, they don't know the story on why these two are fighting. Ramsay could have, he's gonna kill a kid, but like, but Jon's his enemy and he knows that it's his brother. Like, that's something that could happen in war, I feel like. Maybe.
True. I think it is saved a little bit by the fact that, if I'm not mistaken, before the actual battle proper, there is that scene with Jon and Sansa and Davos and whoever else talking about, like,
the things
setting
that he
up for
did
the battle. Yeah, talking about what Ramsay did, because they very much warned Jon, like, you got to realize Rickon's dead. Like, don't play into his hand. He's going to try to get in your head.
Yep.
True.
But I agree. The Ramsay arc, like, especially not even to just understand where everyone's coming from, but to really appreciate the fate of Ramsay. Like, you need the seasons of just boiling hatred.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Rob, so here's my thing about choosing an episode that late into a series is I feel like I wanted to catch you a little earlier. Now, I'm going to season 4. I think the Watchers on the Wall or the Mountain and the Viper, those two episodes.
Mountain and the Viper's awful political up until the last 10 minutes.
Right. It is. But I think catching the end of that, of seeing how cool a battle scene can be in the sense of this kind of, which I think was really well done, and such a. The reason why I chose that one in the sense of why I think it's cool is because Game of Thrones is so good at making you think that you know how it's going to go, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then they rip your heart out. And I think that is really cool in a show that is so fan service-y in a way, but still is like, nope, fuck you guys. Like, we're doing this the way we want to do this, based on these books, and now away from the books, which I still, to my heart, really hope that there's been some conversation. And Martin said that that's kind of what his direction is with them, with his comments or feedback to them. But I feel like the books are going to give us overarching same stories with major developments, but it's going to be cool to see all the minor characters and what they're doing. And then the Watchers on the Wall is one of my favorite episodes. Season 4, it's just fantastic. Another great battle scene, another cool, again, you still love Jon, you still believe in what he's seeing, what he's becoming. So I think that's a good thing.
I'm just going back through my my episodes real quick to see what I think the earliest episode that I could tell somebody to watch is.
I was trying
that's
to think
not the
season
beginning.
3, but season 3, it's like...
I think maybe the Battle of the Blackwater would
might be that.
be a decent one to do, because
be
it's got the action of Game of Thrones. It's got some of the, like, the mysticalness of Game of Thrones with the dragon fire. You get you get some of the you get that King Joffrey's not really that great. You can see some of the turmoil from Cersei. You get the Hound doing some action. You get Tyrion doing some action. Like it's got a lot of stuff in that episode where you kind of you see what's going on in the world, and then you get those little snippets of I can remember the Battle of Blackwater, but no, I do not remember if Daenerys or Jon were in that episode. You know, I'm sure they were. I'm sure they showed a little bit of it.
I don't think they were, because I think the Blackwater episode is entirely at King's Landing.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't think it.
so.
I think it's just one isolated location.
Okay.
The Prince of Winterfell was good because that's when Jaqen was doing a lot of things with debts and was kind of a badass part. And you get the political stuff with Robb being betrayed, and there's a lot that's happening in that one too.
It's lost a little bit if you don't know that Theon had allegiance to Robb and grew up with the kids and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
I honestly think we talked about it being kind of ballsy, especially with the White Walkers, a weird way to start it off. The first episode, for as much character introduction as they do,
It's pretty great.
It really especially with Bran falling at the end.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not hooked at the end of that's
what gets you to watch.
I feel
the next
like that's
episode.
the tone of the show, and you're not going to be into it.
Yeah.
I was not into Game of Thrones when I was watching that first episode, and then all of a sudden I see two people that were introduced to me as brother and sister fucking, and then the brother pushing the little boy that we all learned to love right in the first episode, getting pushed off of the wall, and you're like, oh shit, this show's brutal.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all. That was my first kind of thing, because I felt when I got that question today, it got me thinking, because I really feel like, and most pilots in those things are usually longer and do different things than other episodes from that point on. And that's part of the normal development.
Sure.
What I commend Game of Thrones is from literally episode 1, season 1, is we get the same quality, right? I mean, we can talk technology advancing and all those things, but storytelling from the beginning is great.
I would say that falls a little bit in season 7, but
No, that's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's because writers have lost a little. Yeah.
I would say I was actually going to bring up, I think if I had to pick one of all of the seasons or the whole series, I think you have to pick Battle of the Bastards. But I do agree to pick an earlier one. I was going to bring up the Battle of the Blackwater. And then just to add one we haven't talked about, and I can't remember what the rest of the episode is like, so this may or may not be a good one, but I do think this scene at Hardhome to kind of hit that kind of White Walker-y type aspect of the show.
Oh, that was so badass.
Yeah, it's just a really good scene, a lot of action, kind of emphasizes what Game of Thrones about with the White Walkers and that, how terrifying that threat is. I think that would be a good one. I can't remember what the rest of that episode is like off the top of my head right now, though.
It's a lot of time up there, though.
Yeah, but that could be one.
Yeah, that's nice because it does show, it shows you the giants, which is always cool. I mean, even when the wildlings attack the wall, is that the Watchers on the Wall episode?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's pretty good too. I don't know. I think that maybe I can't remember exactly what episode it is, but I think it was like episode 6. I think you see Hodor's dick.
Oh my God. Yeah. Never mind.
Fuck, I'll take back. Let's just focus there.
Hodor's, it's the episode that we've been trying to beat since season 1. It's never happened. Nothing's ever come
The Hound
close.
gave it a good run when he's taking a piss. Gave it a great run.
He really didn't, though. It was season 1, episode 8, the pointy end.
Of course it was.
Oh, yes. Perfect. The important question before we get into all of our speculation and predictions about season 8. Does anybody have a scone that they would like to talk about later on in the episode today? We did not establish that prior to recording. I have one, if you would like.
I have one as well, but I can... Whatever. Since I did last time, you want to go this time?
I will happily go if you'd like. So for the people who aren't going to be interested in the things we're going to talk about for the next hour, well, just stay tuned because you'll hear all about the maple gingerbread scone that I ate in the fucking 80-degree weather outside.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Merry Christmas. Oh, all right. I try to think of like all the different ways we could start this episode, going person to person, talking about characters specifically, just talking about like the main speculation things we've already kind of hit on and rounding them out. I mean, what do you guys feel? Like what's on the tip of your brains? What do you want to touch on?
Can I start? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, being that we had a person email us who has read the books as well, I ran into her today at work, and so I really wanted to have an opportunity to ask her a question because she will talk to me a lot about like the differences and kind of like her qualms and things like that. And so today I asked her 2 questions, and I want to ask all of us that. And she also proposed a question, and they're all kind of bigger questions. So I'll just start with those, and then we can work them in however we want. Sure. But the first question that was brought up is we have to name a main character that survives at the end of season 8. The second question is we have to name someone who sits on the Iron Throne or is the keeper of the realm at the end. Okay. And then the question she just emailed us is, how many dragons are alive at the end of season 8? And she said those that breathe fire or ice. So she
whatever it is.
Or whatever it is. So if all 3 are dead but they're alive as ice breathers at the end, great. And she also kind of qualified that in the sense of are there going to be new dragons, which is something I brought up yesterday as well. So those are the first 3 that kind of like I wanted to get out of the way. Now, some of those are kind of big questions, which I think we're going to answer in other ways as well. But that's where I think we should start. Does anyone have any opposition to that? Do you want to work those in, or how do you want to do it? Great. Fantastic. I'll start then. So the first one, who do I guarantee is alive at the end of this? And that would be my MVP, Tyrion.
Of course.
I feel like, and just why I feel he has to be alive is because it is like the story of like the train that could, or what is the bullshit thing?
The tank engine.
The little train that could.
Yeah, it's like he has all of he gets railed on in this show.
Is that the term that we're going to use?
Yep. I'm going to say he gets rammed in the ass in this show.
Hard in this show.
Rammed hard in the butthole the entire show. But overcomes those things. And I feel like that's a positive thing for him. I mean, he's not a warrior yet. We see him have success in the battle later after initially looking like a fool in battle, right? And I do think all of these things are building where he's a leader, he's a hand, he's giving all this like advice, learning from his mistakes, admitting to mistakes. And I think all of that builds towards him being one of those people at the end of the show that has grown so much and offers so much wisdom. It makes sense. And I mean, I have more with him and my predictions for him, but I do think he survives.
So wait, you think that Tyrion is going to be on the battlefield against the dead?
So I think he's going to be a general, actually.
Okay.
And I think, I think he's one of those people that has willing to listen to so many conversations that he will provide good input and how to defeat them. And I would say that's a big part of that's going to come from Sam. I think with his time spent at the Maesters, learning from things. We don't know everything he's learned there, and I do think a part of what he learned is going to be a big part in the battles in the future. But I think that Tyrion, in working with him, is going to have a large role in the battles.
I can see a number of ways of all of these things going, but for the sake of sanity and for the episode, I have come up with a narrative that I am choosing to subscribe to for season 8, and in that narrative, Tyrion does not survive.
Okay.
Because
fine.
because one of the key elements of that narrative that I've been clinging to since day one is Jaime's got to take out Cersei, and I think he needs another push for that. And I think that's got to be Tyrion.
And I think that is a very that's believable, because I think that Tyrion would be he tells himself he may be a shitty father to the kids that are all dead. He may have disappointed Cersei by not being there maybe enough, but he still was a good brother. And I think if she kills him, that absolutely could be that could be the snap. But I think that's already kind of happened when he's watched what she's willing to do in the last season to the kingdom, to essentially like saying, fuck everyone else, we'll survive. And I don't know if he needs more, because I think he's already seen that she's already gone that far.
I think Arya survives.
Okay.
Only just because I can't really think of who would kill her at this point. But
I have theories on that.
Arya is another one that I think is dead.
Really?
I honestly think Arya will be one of our first deaths.
Me too. Oh my god, me too.
I don't know why. It just kind of seems, unfortunately, because we've seen the trailer and now we know, her and Jon do see each other again. I would have bet that it prevents that meeting in the first place, but I do still think it's going to be a push for Jon. I'm trying to come up with the reason why Daenerys would want Arya gone or something, or maybe Arya finds out something about Dany and Dany has to take out Arya in a roundabout way.
But what would...
Because again, big part of my theory is Jon's taking out Daenerys. And I think Arya rounds into his...
What do you think that... Oh, so you think that Daenerys does something in this in the next season that Arya is going to find out about, and that she's going to end up killing...
My guess is Daenerys finds out about Jon's lineage, gets super freaking paranoid about it. Arya finds out that Dany's planning something, tries to kill her, doesn't work, and then dies, and that's kind of what sets things into motion.
Okay, that I could see that. I honestly, when I first heard the Targaryen. That Tyrion was that Tyrion could be a Targaryen. I honestly thought that we might see a little bit more of a 3 dragons,
Sure,
because it's going to be the 3. I think that my speculation is I think that the White Walkers are going to wipe out the North by episode 3. The North is going to be controlled by the White Walkers. I think it's going to require everyone to move south to warmer weather. And I mean, it was snowing in King's Landing, but I think it's going to move people south. And I think that all of the armies of the 7 kingdoms are going to unite because they're going to finally see. And I think that at a certain point, when the dead is walking, they're no longer loyal to the queen who's not doing anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it starts to, people start to see, King of the North, the last Targaryen, they're rallying behind Tyrion, Jon, and Daenerys to fight the North or to fight the White Walkers that are just increasingly getting larger because of all of the population of the North. And at that point, I think that if I'm going back to someone who survives, I'll go back to the original one. Someone who survives, I think, will be Jaime.
Okay.
I think Jaime will be the last Lannister standing.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Just because I think I said this on Wednesday. He's been a very tragic character, and that is in a way a a fitting end to a tragic character. Like
Yeah.
he is left
Alone.
He has kind of beaten his, mental demons and everything, but he is left to deal with that alone. And it rounds that out nicely.
So then Tony, I'm gonna ask this. So is he your character you're going to guarantee is alive as well?
He is not, because if it just
Because
there is a character that I
but
think
you haven't
survives.
said shit yet.
Yeah, no, it's true. There is a character that I think survives no matter what the arc plays out in my head, and that's Sansa Stark.
Oh God, that's funny you say that, because that's the one character who I think dies early.
I just don't see because Sansa's kind of in the middle of her redemption arc, which doesn't have to be finished. They can pull her out of it, they could kill her, but I don't necessarily see what her death does for any other character that somebody else's death would do better.
Yeah.
I think she's going to be used as motivation for the Starks, either for Arya, which, we've kind of been left to think that maybe there's a rift there. Interestingly enough, I think that can be actually used as a motivation for Arya to have revenge against someone. Dany, I don't know. I think it could be interesting. And then also for Jon, I think Sansa is going to play a bigger role with Jon and motivating him in this next episode or next season.
I think I think Jon's just going to get mad at her.
Mad at Sansa?
But I think she'll do something stupid because she's Sansa.
Yeah,
and I think she'll die because of that, but I think it will lead to something positive for Jon or for Arya, something in that regard.
But who's going to kill her? With Sansa, I agree with Tony that with Sansa, it just doesn't seem like she's ever going to be in a situation where someone's really threatening her life, because I don't think anyone sees her as a threat.
I think she'd have to go out in a Sept of Baelor type style where it's just a big, massive purge of characters.
Yeah, I think that Sansa, if she was to die, it would be when, White Walkers storm Winterfell.
Overthrow Winterfell.
Yeah. And she gets trapped inside, because she's gonna be trapped inside no matter what. She's not a fighter. She's gonna be in Winterfell that whole time.
Yeah.
See, I think I could easily see her saying, "You guys leave. This is my, very much like, this is my home. I'm going to die here. I spent forever getting back to here, and this is where my stand ends. Like, I'm going to be in my home."
I mean, talking once again about Star Wars Episode 8. There's no reason. Like, why would you say, all right, everyone take off. I'll hold them off. There's no reason for her to go down with that shit.
There really isn't.
I'm just saying that I don't like her. So
she doesn't really have she has the mentality now of a character that's going to survive. She knows how to do it now, I think.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. I'm saying I want her to die. I don't see her dying, but I want her to die. I'm just getting to the point. The second question for the whole
I think
Theron
just
thing.
on that too, just on that question to round that out. I think that's kind of, the more I think about it too, like that's what's exciting about this season too, is like, honestly, I feel like anyone could die.
Yeah.
And like it would make sense, and I wouldn't be that surprised. So probably kind of crazy.
And even like Dany, Jon, Tyrion, Jaime, Brienne, Cersei, even like these characters who I'm like have been really connected with, I think it's all up in the air, and I think that's so freaking cool on a show.
Yeah.
Who's gonna sit on the throne, kind of whatever. I think we should talk about more things before we come to that, because I feel like that's something that's gonna be like, all right, at the end, boom.
Where you see your theory going?
Sure.
Yeah. And then for the whole dragon thing, I still think the pending doom. I think the White Walkers get another dragon.
Okay.
I think that would be something I could see happening.
I think the White Walker's dragon dies right away. I think Viserion and Aegon, or whatever the dragons that are still alive names are.
Rhaegal and Drogon.
Rhaegal and Drogon. I think that they go after that dragon and they kill it because their fire will. He's undead fire, but dragon fire I think living dragon fire will still have more power than undead dragon fire.
I don't know. I feel like I kind of have two minds on this one. I think first of all, Viserion really emotionally has very little stake in the show, so he could easily just go. Or, I mean, like for the show's sake, they could even have him be like a relatively insignificant death. Or they're not going to really worry about him because they only have so many episodes, and they're going to hit hard on that Drogon death.
Yeah.
And I think Drogon kills. I think the dragons go 1v1. Drogon, something happens to Viserion, either dies or whatever, and then Drogon and I already forgot Rhaegal. Because which one's the ice dragon now?
Viserion.
Sorry. Opposite of what I just said. Rhaegal, no stake. Viserion, Drogon go head to head, 1v1. It's like a Clegane Bowl thing where Drogon has to die either fighting both dragons.
And all three dying at the same time.
And all three dying at the same time, where Drogon kills the two to save Daenerys, but then dies in the process. And then Daenerys loses all her children in, again, what is very Game of Thrones tragic child death arc type thing.
Now, I think thus far it's all been said that this happens kind of early or something. So are we saying Jon ain't riding no dragon?
Oof, I don't know.
I don't think it's happening early because if you remember from Daenerys's visions, the Red Keep was burned down. I think that is Viserion, the undead dragon, with the Night King coming to disrupt King's Landing.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a good 1-2 episodes of Jon the Dragon Rider before they find out really who his parents are, maybe. And who knows, it could turn into something good that they're both just like, fuck it. We'll just keep it a secret that we're related.
Yeah, maybe they won't want to talk. I mean, it seems like it would just bring problems.
Yeah.
I also think it's got to wait a little while. I think we lose a dragon, and I'm not super picky whether it's Drogon or Rhaegal right away. I think we lose a dragon pretty early, and I absolutely think they're all dead at the end. I think they're going to go for a very, net neutral ending where you wipe out this inherent bad force that they've only ever been able to push back, the dark magic in the world. But to do it, you have to sacrifice these dragons, which has already been shown to bring back the other magic in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that this is very much like the world moving forward from this shatter point.
A very, very Lord of the Rings ending where,
Absolutely.
it's the time of men now type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, Legolas and Gimli come on the boats and they shuttle Tyrion off to Valinor because they think that he's that kind of dwarf.
I mean, for me, the dragon thing, I do feel... I feel like they all die, actually, by the end of the show. And I feel like they all die, and I feel like there is other eggs discovered by the end of the show. And I was trying to think, and I cannot remember in the book or in the show if it's ever mentioned are they able to procreate these current dragons? Because I don't think they are.
Well, they're all dudes.
They're all males.
But if you if you look at the books at one time, it commented that all dragons could be male or female.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yes. So because of that, then the potential for them to mate, and that's why I don't think they comment on that in the show, and so that's why I never brought it up prior. Was like, oh, well, maybe they can't procreate, which is fine.
Maybe Daenerys
so then they're
will find some eggs in the ashes of their bodies.
Well, or I think there are eggs actually in Winterfell in the crypts.
Ooh, okay.
That's where I think we're gonna find dragons, and I think they're gonna discover them middle of the show, kind of thing, maybe near the end, which is why I think Dany has to survive long enough to find them to hatch them in that kind of way. But I do think there are gonna be dragons. I just don't think. I think the original 3. I think none of them survive.
That's fair. I mean, just to clarify, certainly in the book mythology, I'm not sure if they've established it in the show, these were by no means the last 3 Dragonades in existence.
Yeah.
Like, they're worth a lot of money. They're pretty rare, but they exist, but they're all just rocks.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But I'm talking about I think in this show.
Why do you think there's dragon eggs in the Crypt of Winterfell?
I just think it would be a place that it's going to work. I mean, I just feel like because they have so much value, and that place it's probably some sort of like heirloom or whatever that they kept them.
Yeah.
It plays into the theory that if Bran is all of the famous Brans from history, that he would have buried some dragon eggs with him if he knew that that was going to be something that was needed.
He's also going to have chains, just in case. Just in case the Night King needs to, get another dragon in the water. #
Yeah,
I'm there for you.
I think we're all in relative consensus there. I don't know about how Rob feels, but I have a hard time. I don't know. I have a hard time visualizing any series ending that still has dragons around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, I'm sorry. I have to pee.
Oh, by all means.
I'm so sorry.
By all means, Rob. Take a tinkle break here. And let's see. Do you guys have any stories you'd like to share as we pause the thrones?
The song. We're gonna pull
do you want
that.
me to? This is something we did earlier in the week on Facebook for the old radio station to try and get other people as excited about Game of Thrones, because I assume Post Malone is a fan. He just seems the type that would be, and so he sang a little bit about it. It's actually on our Facebook page if you want to see the video. It's nothing special. It's just me doing lip reading.
All right. I'm back. Sorry.
D-Rob's back. We don't even need to do it now.
Here we go.
I'll do it anyway.
Said she tired of The Office, need a new show. Some filled with characters and not too slow. Turn off Netflix, girl, hop on HBO. Crack a beer, sit back, turn on Game of Thrones, yeah. See a dragon, see a dragon, see a dragon, see a dragon while Daenerys pulling up. She got a lot of toys, 2 fire-breathing, hot and spicy boys. She was kinda shy in the beginning, reluctantly agreeing to a wedding. Then her husband kicked the bucket and was burning. But Daenerys isn't stupid, she was learning. Yeah, put the eggs in the fire and walk deep. Jorah Mormont was saying Khaleesi. But the gods had a plan for old Dany, proved her worth, giving birth to 3 dragons, wow. Later she freed all of the Unsullied, and she conquered every Dothraki. Now she's in Westeros with her army, showing Cersei that she's worthy, got her saying wow. Oh yeah, and Jon Snow died in season 5, but it wasn't so. Melisandre brought him back and he's got gold. CGI budget doesn't show us Ghost. Met with Sansa, she's a sister. Went to Winterfell and killed her mister. Started banging Dany on a ship, son. Doesn't know it's his and Night King's got an army and a dragon corpse to boot. Just burned down the wall and he continues coming through. Cersei said she'd help, but I don't think that was the truth. Jaime will not have it, leaves his sister and his boo. Used to have a hand, but he's got gold now. Leaves King Landing and then heads north now. Can't wait for season 8 to see what's coming forth now. Is Cersei pregnant or is it fake news now? Yeah. Well, on Sunday I guess we will all see. The beginning of the end is nearing. Who will win? Is it Euron and Cersei? Or will the dead kill everyone? Have a say in how. If Arya dies, then we will riot. If you're watching it, please just be quiet. Don't go spoiling it for the entire audience who cannot watch when it is live now.
Fucking crazy good shit.
Really lost the rhythm there at the end, but got sick of coming up with rhymes.
Was that an original song?
That would be a cover of the current number 2 song on the Billboard Hot 100 charts, "Wow" by Post Malone. Rob,
Oh, okay. I don't
please
know. Is
get with it.
Post Malone face tattoo guy?
He is face tattoo guy.
Okay.
Oh, Post Malone, Benedict Cumberbatch 2.0. I don't know if you guys saw those memes a while back where it was like everyone was just messing up his name and stuff. The best one was like, postpone my student loan.
That's good.
Anyway, so
Great job, by the way.
well,
Killed
thank
it.
you so much.
Killed it.
It's not the GOTOPP song that we've been saying we're gonna do for 80 episodes, but it's
Or the
something.
Grease Lightning Demon Baby.
Oh,
God, we need to
demon
do that.
baby coming out the vagina.
Demon baby.
Demon baby.
There's been so many missed opportunities on this show, and we've just filled, much like Game of Thrones season 5, we've just filled so much of our time with bullshit. Anyway.
All right, let's get. Who else has got?
Hold
some
on,
good stuff?
Jeremy. Rob, how are you feeling? Are you better?
I'm better. My bladder is not as full anymore.
I'm sure my mom would love to know. Did you shake it more than twice?
I don't know. I just did it the normal time, the normal amount, which is probably more than twice.
More than twice. Okay. Well,
Did you smack it to the left or to the right?
dirty. That is all. All right, Jeremy.
No, I was just saying. So, what else? What else we got for some cues?
Some cues. Okay. Hans, do you have anything you want to mentally tackle? Hansi.
As far as predictions,
Yeah.
what the episode's about.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, my cat was just freaking attacking the shit out of me for a second. Yeah. So the way I was thinking about this was going to be more like character based. Like, what do you think happens to this character and this character?
Perfect.
But I feel like if we go down that road, it's going to get deep.
It's gonna get long.
Yeah.
Well, we got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think? Because there's 2 battles left for season 8, in my mind.
Okay.
The battle for the living, and then the battle for who's going to rule the seven kingdoms. Do you think they're going to join as one? Do you think it's going to be a sort of a democracy-like thing that Daenerys, not really democracy, but sort of a Daenerys bullshit thing that happens where she just shows up and everyone starts worshiping her because she's got these dragons and she's killing all the White Walkers? Or do you think there's going to be an actual battle for King's Landing or for the realm?
I wish we didn't know anything. It'd be more fun to speculate. The fact that they've built up this crazy filming schedule and massive financial budget around specifically the quote-unquote Battle of Winterfell.
See, I didn't know that. Now you're just ruining things for me. Thanks, Tony.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, we've absolutely said it on the show, so you must
I
not be
know.
as big of a fan as you're talking about.
I'm very,
tricky.
I'm
So, but
very
that-
good
but
at
to be
avoiding
fair-
spoilers.
This could be. So I will just say there is a theory that the White Walkers just don't go to Winterfell and they go to King's Landing first.
Yeah.
That is a theory that exists. I don't get it, but it is a theory. But I don't necessarily think the Battle of Winterfell has to mean the battle against the White Walkers. I think that battle absolutely happens.
Yeah.
But I'm almost wondering if that is an easier dealt with threat than we imagine. I do think that it implies that the dragons die early. Like, I think it's really got to even the score. But then the Battle of Winterfell could be just a battle. Cersei's trying to come on up to sandwich the armies. You know, Jon and Dany and their forces and everything are kind of weakened after the crazy shenanigans with the White Walkers. I think that the only thing going against that is Daenerys' visions, but it could be just a metaphor.
We could, I mean, honestly, the fight against the White Walkers could be an easy victory. It depends on how much the Night King hides himself. Because I mean,
Oh shit, true.
because if the Night King dies, the White Walkers are done.
I forget that they introduced that Phantom Menace type
Yeah.
plot device. Good point.
Because I mean, maybe that's how the dragons die. They're fighting each other, while also the Night King is on Viserion, and maybe Daenerys and Jon are on the other two, and they're fighting. And you know, Drogon gets a chomp on the Night King, burns him alive, and then boom, the war with the White Walkers is over. It could be done in 3 episodes.
I do think the White Walkers are dealt with in the first 3 episodes.
You do?
I mean, I shouldn't say that. I think the conflict between the White Walkers and Jon and Dany's forces are resolved in the first 3 episodes.
Okay.
The White Walkers could win that and
True.
then move down to King's Landing,
True.
as you suggested. But I think that we absolutely have that quote unquote battle of Winterfell early. I think.
The burning of the Red Keep could be in the first episode, because you could see the Night King, making a victory lap around Westeros. He could just go straight down on the dragon and just start burning shit. He sees King's Landing, he's gonna burn it, and then come back up to the north once he's done. He's letting everyone know, I'm here and I'm gonna conquer you, type of thing.
It also doesn't have to be dragon fire. We know there are caches of wildfire in the city, which would probably leave more of a crater than a ruined castle. Yeah. But, there's that whole Mad Queen theory. Cersei could shoot herself in the foot there.
Yeah.
I think the whole development of like the javelin spear that was shot at Drogon, and I feel like those are going to be somehow used with dragon glass to take down what I'm going to argue is going to be 2 ice dragons in a future battle.
Who is going to throw those?
So that's what I think. I think Winterfell's going to be overrun, and I think they're going to then have to almost end up in King's Landing for another standoff sort of situation. Okay. And that's where I think Cersei's going to die, because Jaime is going to be like, this is us surviving. We have got to stand. And these forces, these wildlings, whatever we have left, this is our people. And if you can't see that kind of thing, then that's going to lead to a conflict. And maybe that's when the Clegane Bowl happens. Maybe it's like a raiding party to overtake King's Landing to kind of reestablish that. I do think main characters that are going to get down there are going to definitely be Dany. I think Jaime. I think Jon is still going to be there. I think Tyrion is going to be there. I'm trying to decide on other Starks that are going to be around.
Arya still has Cersei on her list. Arya could kill Cersei,
and absolutely could be.
And then the mountain kills Arya. I would say the mountain would be the only thing that could kill Arya, because Arya's gonna, even though she's fast, she's trying to kill an undead person.
Yeah. All her tricks are kind of useless.
Yeah. And that would be a cool way for the Clegane Bowl to happen, right?
Yeah.
Like, what if...
Oh, it really would.
Yeah.
Arya gets killed, and the Hound just flips shit and goes after him. And it's like one of those, like, he just walks in there, murders the fuck out of people getting to him, and then the Mountain, like, walks out, and it's just, like, dead in the street kind of thing.
Because he doesn't need any sort of emotional fodder to fight the Mountain. But if we're looking for a reason to him to overcome his fire fear, that could do it.
Yeah.
And I think he honestly cares about Arya. I think that reunion is going to be one of the coolest for me.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I'd like to see that.
Yeah. I am now thinking that I don't know if you said it as more of just wild speculation, Rob. The more I think about it, the more your victory lap makes sense. And I shouldn't even say victory lap. Preemptive victory lap. I think, what does the Night King have to lose from just taking the dragon, immediately bolting off down south, wreaking havoc across the entire countryside as you go? Just burn here, burn here, burn here.
Yeah.
Raise an army and attack from every angle?
Yeah, that's probably what that...
he's shown whether or not he's...
separate from his forces, though.
Yeah,
but why not?
The other whites will still, or White Walkers will be there commanding his army. He doesn't have to be there. The White Walkers can still do that to command the army onto the north, and he can leave and go raise a whole bunch of armies around all of Westeros.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying the show has not shown us him leaving and being locations without his army.
True.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that he can't.
No, I know it doesn't mean that, but I feel like that's something that I feel like from a strategy standpoint, a large army never makes sense, right? Small armies make more sense from strategic manipulation and battles. So the fact that it's always been just like this giant, massive force of like the whole slow moving winter kind of thing makes me think that that's how it's going to proceed.
Well, I think that at this point, like maybe they can't attack or something, or maybe they're just kind of locked in place or whatever. If the Night King is as in the know as he has been kind of foreshadowed to be, whether or not that means he has some sort of connection to Bran or not, I think he's going to know that, oh, they've got a way to take down dragons, but the people in the South don't know about the way to take down the undead. They don't have the dragon glass.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to do anything to me. And he knows, okay, so what if I park my whole army here? Winterfell's not coming to me. Like, there's no way they win that fight. Their only chance is to stay in that castle. Mm-hmm. So
he's going to make a bigger army.
Yeah. I mean, provided he's not on some sort of leash, I couldn't think of a tactical reason for him not to do that.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think it's an interesting thought, and I agree, Rob. I think that's an interesting idea of fuck growing your army slow, right? Go out and just wreck towns, and then suddenly raise another million people to just literally overwhelm everything else, right?
I mean, still technically he's growing his army slow because, I mean, it's been 1,000 years since he's done anything. So that's the slowest army growth in the Seven Kingdoms.
So do you think that with the dragon being a white, and I'm assuming no longer, given the color change and whatever that is coming out of the dragon, is it no longer dragon fire, I take it? Because my only concern with that would be, like, if people are being killed by the dragon fire, does that actually, can they be risen by the White Walker? I don't know.
Right.
Interesting. Good point. I am taking this. I was kind of imagining a Warcraft Lich King type scenario where there's just this like energy that kills people and raises them simultaneously. Yeah. But I guess if it is just super destructive, that is kind of fucked.
I mean, he could be doing that to even lessen the armies of the South, though.
Well, yeah, that's true.
It could literally, maybe he's not going to raise them, but he's tactically, I mean, like, for 3 seasons we've been hearing how Daenerys could take the Seven Kingdoms with one dragon. So tactically, if you have a dragon and you don't care about killing everyone, why wouldn't you?
I think it's a good point. I think if it's almost one of those things that's kind of a plot hole if they don't mention something about it, if he doesn't do it, because it does make, like, he's got that much power. I think the only way they could write it off without him doing something like that is kind of getting to, I think, one of the bigger questions we brought up in the conspiracies is what do the White Walkers want? Or, like, what does the Night King actually want? What is their ultimate goal? Is it really just to turn everyone into whites, or is this just a tool to get whatever this Night King wants? I don't know. I'd like to think that it's something more than just taking over Westeros, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that's boring and that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is, because on the one hand, it's like we've heard a lot about the one war or whatever with R'hllor and R'hllor, I don't know how you say it, the Red God being the light versus the darkness, and the White Walkers very much being the epitome of that darkness. But we also know that they were created by the children of the forest, and that they were at least created for some sort of purpose. So it's not like they're like ancient slumbering demons.
Yeah, they were created to kill men by the children of the forest in the original war with the children of the forest.
So maybe it's just a robot that's all they're programmed to do thing?
Yeah, just kill men.
Yeah. Because eventually when I was reading up on the religions of all of these things,
sounds riveting.
It was very, because eventually the first men had their pact with the children of the forest, and they started worshiping the old gods. Mm-hmm. So at that point, they didn't have to have a war anymore. So the Night King was still there, though, slumbering for 1,000 years or whatever. So I don't know what made him fall back to sleep or whatever, made him lay dormant for so long.
I think, again, I think just being somewhat robotic or this pre-programmed to just kill men, again, it falls a little flat for me.
Yeah.
And I think one of the arguments against that is, then why do all the symbolism and why put, body parts in these shapes, and like why do those things? And I don't know, that's never really been explained yet, I don't think.
Arts and crafts are fun.
They got to keep morale up.
I mean, it could literally be any of the old gods have, there's like an infinite amount of old gods. There's they consider a tree an old god, and they consider the ground an old god, the water an old god. So there's so many different ones. So if they are agents of the god of darkness or whatever, where there's the Lord of Light, and maybe the Lord of Light also counts as an old god, maybe they're all the same, The only one that never really fit into it is the Sept. That religion didn't really make any sense with the lore of the world. It seemed like it was all,
because I think it's just bullshit.
Yeah, it's all just bullshit, it seems like.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think like the old gods, like just like in Lord of the Rings, like the Ents are gonna come back and all the trees are gonna fight for humankind?
Fingers crossed that we get some Ents.
Yeah.
Just some creepy ass weirwoods
Yeah.
with their faces.
And the hound's like, what the
true.
fuck is going on?
It is true that like all of the gods of the seven kingdoms, out of all of them, the only ones we haven't seen do anything are the drowned god and all of the gods of the seven.
True. Do you think we'll get any children of the forest, or do you think that's tied up?
I think I think they're dead now.
Yeah, it's interesting. In the books, there's another colony of them south of the wall, actually.
Oh, really?
But like in the middle of the country on an island, I think in the crag. But I think the show's implying that they wiped them out.
Yeah, I think it's too late
to
now
introduce more.
To try and introduce anyone else like that new. It would make sense to me from a book standpoint that they would still have a role to play, given that they created the White Walkers. But
sure.
But yeah, in the show, I agree. I think it's I think it's too late to bring them back now.
Mm-hmm.
I think the show is interesting again from the White Walker standpoint, or specifically the Night King, where there's a couple things, but as far as the Night King actually physically interacting with the world, we don't see much. Because the only time we really, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure there's some little things here, but other than him like riding on the dragon kind of towards the end, which to me was much more of just a show moment than anything.
Yeah.
He almost always is just like kind of in the background watching. He does kill that dragon with the spear the one time. But the only other time we actually ever like see him touch anything is the babies that he turns into the White Walkers, and then he touches Bran, but it's not even in reality, right? It's in that kind of that alternate,
the dream,
whatever Bran's visions things
Right.
are. So it's just it's interesting if he's as powerful as they kind of make him out to be, that he stays so far back. And I wonder if there is like a fear that if he goes down, the whole thing's over. And that's why he is kind of protected the way he is. But yeah, he doesn't really make this effort to go be in a battle or anything. He always kind of just comes at the end or whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
At Hardhome, he kind of shows what he can do. Not in battle wise, but I mean, he at the end when they're all just sitting at the shore and he raises everyone that he just killed.
But yeah, he doesn't. I get what Han's saying. Like it's all calculated. Like it's a no risk scenario for him to walk down there at that point.
Yeah, because even in Hardhome, they specifically show him just up at the top of that cliff watching with some other White Walkers, and that's kind of all he does until the battle's over, and then he walks down. It's just interesting that he plays it pretty close to the vest like that. And I don't know if that's purposeful or if it's just for suspense building in the show purpose to have like kind of one final fight at the end with him or something. But
I mean,
I think that this actually might have unwittingly given me more fodder for Rob's theory, because why would he be on that dragon if he wasn't about to just take off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he just command the dragon to do it without him on there?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's because he saw Danny doing it, and he's like, "That looks fun."
that could be.
He's like, "Dragon rides, whee!"
This is a new thing for him.
Do you think do you think the Night King dies by fire or by Valerian steel, by dragonglass?
I don't think fire can kill White Walkers.
Do you think he dies by fire, by Valerian steel?
I think it'll be Valerian steel, and I think that it'll probably be
which Valerian steel?
I think it will be a mix of John and Jamie teaming up together to take him out.
Brienne.
Ooh.
And I think she goes down in the process. And I think she saves Sansa, because that's the thing. I can't think of an emotional arc where that involves Sansa dying, but I can think of one that involves people dying for her.
Yeah, I think Brienne dies, sadly. I think Tormund and Brienne go down in the same battle.
I think Tormund is dead.
I don't think Tormund's dead. I think we're still going to get a little bit of Tormund.
I don't think Tormund's dead either.
I think we get a little Brienne and Tormund in a tent before they go down.
So that's a good question. Side characters now. What are the stories that you want to see happening with side characters that might not be fully finished?
I'd like to see Theon's boat sink in the middle of the ocean.
Not Euron's?
Oh my God. Euron as
Not
well.
Euron's
They're both
boat?
like
all of their boats.
Like they miscalculate and they just ram into each other and they sink. They're like, fuck.
First episode, first 10 minutes. Done. The great joys are gone. Now we can get on with the show.
And it's like what it says previously on Game of Thrones. And it just shows that clip. And they're like, because it fucking doesn't matter.
If Theon survives this damn series.
I don't think at this point that he can't. Because I still don't think that Yara has been made enough of a character that people give a shit about for Theon to die for her, even though it would... The show wants to make us think that it would round out his arc, but it wouldn't.
I just don't want him to survive.
No, I think that Euron's going to kill both Yara and Theon.
I think they both die, yeah. One way or another.
And then Euron will most likely die from Dragonfire.
Oh, we can only hope.
In a weird way, I think Gendry is a unique side story that we haven't gotten. We've gotten an idea of where there's some importance, but not enough. And I'm interested to see him, because I see him coming back to Arya in a way that'll be interesting.
It was not actually a conspiracy theory we touched on Wednesday, but it was one that I kind of liked. The conspiracy theory is that Gendry was Cersei's firstborn son. Timelines match up. Oh. Cersei talks about having a son that had brown hair, and I don't know if he fell sick or what happened, but they said he died or something. And it's mentioned in the show. It's not in the books. And so that's why I was like, well, why would they make such a big arc out of this if it wasn't a thing in the books? What they said, what the theory is, that whoever it was hid Gendry away because of whether it was fear of Lannister influence or what. So as an option to be like, hey, if we need to, here's a rightful heir that we can kind of bring forward. So it kind of takes the place of this Targaryen character that doesn't exist in the show. This young Griff tie-in that I've been missing from the books. And I don't hate the theory.
Yeah, no. And I don't think Gendry's a bad character. I just feel like if he was going to play such a big role, we would have more with him.
Yeah. I don't think they can try to make him an A-list character at this point.
Yeah, at this point they've lost their chance to bring Gendry into the fold for being a contender for the throne.
He's a side character.
And I think that Gendry himself even knows that, maybe I do have some claim to that throne, but I don't want it. It doesn't seem like a character that wants it. Maybe if everyone dies.
I don't know what his... What do they do with him? It could be an emotional arc for Arya, a little bit. Him dying or her dying.
Yeah.
Either way. But I think there's just better things you can do with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I kind of feel like he's just he's going to be a character that just has a somewhat non-significant death. I think he's going to die on screen. I think he's going to die in battle. He's going to just be one of those characters that they have in the pocket that they can have a relatively meaningful death because it's a face that we know, but an easy one that they can just write off here's a death that we can throw in this battle. Let's move on. Not one they need to spend a lot of time on.
I think that's fair. If 90% of people don't get wiped out character wise, do you think the last episode's just going to be like that cheesy 90s music where it shows a still frame of a character? And
Cersei
it's like,
went on
Euron
and-
Greyjoy went on to
Graduate with his communications degree.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
has aspirations to run his own milk stand.
exactly.
What do you think about Jaqen? Do you think Jaqen will be back in season 8?
Ooh.
I still have the theory that the Faceless Men aren't done with Arya, but I think it's just too much to tie in.
I don't think they have enough time to bring in the faithless men to do anything that anyone would care about. I think that
Although, if they're agents of the god of death, and if the White Walkers are being ascribed to be the gods of death,
true. But
I just think with the
they
bank-
think that the god of death is all of the gods.
yes.
So
yes.
so I don't know if they necessarily would believe that even the Lord of Light was bad in that sense of it. Every god is their god. I don't know. I think that there's another possibility is if Game of Thrones has done this throughout the seasons, where one main character dies and a few side characters start to come into more of a bigger role.
Yeah.
The Hound, the first 3 seasons, I guess the first season with the Hound, he wasn't really that big of a character. You didn't get a lot from him, and then now he's back and he's with that fight against everyone, completely flip sides. I think that it would be interesting. We get a Jon, we get a Cersei, we get a Daenerys, we get Jaime, we get Tyrion. They're all dead. All those main characters are dead. The world is left to our hounds, our Brienne,
B-team.
our Brienne of Tarth, our Gendrys, our all the characters that
Leaving the wheel broken,
breaks
which
the
is
wheel.
the goal, right?
Yeah.
So I got another proposition here. Just switching gears a bit.
$20.
So Battle of Winterfell. The White Walkers and Whites are there, right?
Okay.
Do they, everyone's thinking that in Winterfell the walls and everything are going to protect them. Does the Night King or the White Walkers, do they raise the dead from the crypts and attack within inside Winterfell and on the outside?
It's the big thought, especially from that very first teaser that we get where like Jon and Arya and Sansa are in the crypts and they just have that like kind of terrifying mist come through. Which I think seems more like a dream than anything, but
Yeah.
the imagery is there. I think it's possible,
Ned's
but at the same
headless
time,
body is walking around the bottom.
Well, I don't
But yeah,
think
but
Ned would do it because his body was just ashes at that point, wasn't it? Because
at the very least, bones.
yeah.
But all of them would be bones.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
so
they
they
could
can
be
do
skeletons.
skeletons,
Yeah,
yeah.
they can do skeletons, but I don't know, like, have we established, do the whites have an increased strength? Because they're sealed in tombs. Like,
Yeah.
It's true.
That's a good point.
but I don't, it's got to play in somehow.
It's got something about the crypts is significant because they showed it way too much in the trailers. My only thought process was that at Winterfell, they're behind the walls, they feel safe, and then that's their kind of mechanism to breach is basically just raising more army withinside those walls and kind of flanking from the. I guess it's not even flanking at that point; it's complete infiltration.
Wasn't there a way out of the city through the crypts?
Oh, and King's Landing?
No, in Winterfell.
I don't know.
I feel like
I don't know.
I don't know.
I was a
either.
little confused about like when and where things were happening when Theon was caught by Ramsay, because they didn't really.
I know Osha hangs out in the crypts when she comes back to the Winterfell, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But they come back out through the courtyard. It could be. There certainly could be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the other big question that needs to be asked is from the most important, I think, from like a character specific prediction. What the hell's going to go on with Bran? We talked about a little in the conspiracies, but like, who is Bran? If they don't have some crazy twist with Bran, it's going to be very disappointing.
No, they absolutely have to. And it's honestly the one thing that I can't find anything that fits into all the other stuff that I think is going to happen. Like, whatever I come up with throws everything else out the window.
I just think that, like, Bran is, like, they try to make him important, but the way that I see Bran maybe doing anything, maybe Bran is the one who has to kill the Night King. Maybe being the three-eyed raven gives him some sort of agency or power over the Night King, if he's not also the Night King. I don't know that full conspiracy theory on how he becomes how he is the Night King.
I don't even really get that conspiracy, other than, like Tony said in our episode, other than the Instagram photos of them side by side and going, they look kind of alike.
I wonder if we'll almost get like an Obi-Wan type thing with Bran.
He
just kind of bows out.
Isn't kind of the prophecy of the three-eyed raven like a thing saying that, oh, there's always got to be a three-eyed raven? Or do you think once the Night King is defeated, there doesn't have to be a three-eyed raven?
I have no clue.
Because it's just, I don't know. It's confusing because everything that he does, the powers that he has, like, he's basically just an alarm system for everyone. That's all I see him doing.
Well, so I think that Bran is... I think that, like, the three-eyed raven is the old gods. That is my theory of that.
Okay.
It's not like an eyes for him. It's like that's just what we perceive as that. He is basically tapped into the powers that they know as the old gods.
Right.
And he can use them to see through or whatever. And I don't know when or how it happens, but I think it's probably a willing decision and a knowing decision from Bran that in the end, when, I think that there will be this, like, total purge of, extraplanar stuff going on in Westeros, that it'll kind of be instigated or in some way assisted by Bran, and he'll just kind of etherealize. I think
I know what happens. I just thought of this.
Okay.
Rhaegal and Bran. Bran wargs into Rhaegal.
Oh, shit.
Because what did they say about Bran? You won't ever walk again, but you will fly.
Oh, shit!
When you said that, that's the first thing that popped in my head. I'm like, Bran's gonna fucking fly.
This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Bran's gonna take control of Rhaegal and do some damage to the White Walkers.
And then he's gonna be all like emo when they congratulate him on like saving. He'll be like, "Don't thank me. I'm the."
Or maybe this is how Dany goes down. Bran sees some sort of turmoil building in her. She's flying up on Drogon. He takes control of Drogon, does a barrel roll,
fries her ass, and then
just sends her flying. Ooh, I totally forgot about that. You can fly line. I mean, he has flown.
He has flown. They've shown him controlling the Ravens, but it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be bigger than that.
It's a line that I think ends a season, so.
Yeah.
It's got to be important. Ooh, that's good. Good catch. Jeremy, let's get to your next question.
Oh, so who sits on the throne? And I'll cop out because I feel like, I didn't give you. So Olivia said that the person she thinks is going to survive till the end, bar none, is Sam.
Sam. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, it goes with my B character theory.
Yeah.
And she says Tyrion ends up on the throne at the end, which I agree with her, actually. I feel like this is setting up Tyrion. And again, that doesn't mean that he earns it in the way. I do think there are going to be other characters that we could argue could be on the throne. I think he's going to be given the throne. I think he's going to be told it's his instead of quote unquote taking.
Yeah.
I have a similar theory from your mindset where I think Tyrion maybe, if Tyrion survives, I think you're half right. But they've kind of painted Tyrion to be this perfect, like, advisor. The fact that he can keep people's interests in check, not necessarily that he has a knack for ruling, but the fact that he has a knack for understanding and advising. Which could be the same, but regardless, there is a character, frustrating it as it may have been, that in season 7 they kind of painted to be a little naturally good at ruling. And I think that through various losses and things, she is going to lose the desire to do that, but she will be given it, and Tyrion will aid her, and that is Sansa Stark.
Ooh, so this is my other thing I was going to say with Tyrion. Tyrion's hand, Varys.
Sure.
Okay.
How about that?
That's where I see Varys, because that was the kind of the question that she also mentioned, is like, where's Varys? I think at the end, Varys chooses the people, Tyrion is the people. That's why I think that's going that way.
I really think I would buy that Jon and or Dany survive more than I buy Tyrion sits on the Iron Throne.
Oh, I think Jon actually survives and gives up the throne. Like, he doesn't want the throne.
I think Tyrion equally doesn't want it, though.
Oh wow.
Man, get angry there, yelling at us.
I don't know what's going on. My mic is picking up everything right now.
It's like, Rob, we know you have things to say.
I was looking at my thing. I'm moved it away a little bit. So I think that there could be a cool scene of maybe not just one person that will be the survivor of everything. I think maybe it would be kind of cool to have 3 people survive that maybe aren't necessarily best for being the ruler, but they could be the ruler. And
Sure.
So it would go on my Jaime Lannister, I think Sansa Stark, and I want to pick someone from like the Daenerys side of things, and the only one I could maybe see staying, because I don't think that we're going to have I don't think that we're going to have any more Lannisters other than one.
Sure.
I could maybe see a Jorah Mormont. I think
he's got to go.
I think that maybe we see those 3 at the very end living, standing in the Red Keep that's burned down, and they all kind of just like, they're all just been like, so who's taking this? Type of thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It could play with the whole, if they're this is a fresh start where, magic is gone, blah, blah, blah. This could be capitalist propaganda.
Yeah.
Down with the monarchy.
So I have that same picture in my head, like has them all lined up.
Yeah.
Like all like giggling.
All just kind
and
of
then they
staring
like all
at it.
run and kind of like jump in the midair, freeze frame, and it's like Game of Thrones.
My picture
great
is
comical.
like right at the end of season 8, you see the 3 silhouettes of the figures. They're all you're behind, the camera's behind them. They're looking at the throne with the burned off ceiling above it. Snow's coming down still, and they're all just kind of standing there. And then, boom, black.
I don't even know if I'd hate that, actually.
Yeah, I think that would be a good ending. Not telling us who's going to be the ruler.
I think, yeah. I mean, I obviously it could go a bunch of different ways, but I really don't think they put anyone on the throne. I think that it gets destroyed. I think I have three completely opposite theories. I'm casting a wide net. Okay.
Yeah.
I think one, I definitely think they do some ending where they just leave it open, right? Where there's multiple people alive that with stake to this. Maybe they bring Gendry back into this or something. Again, use him as just another like ploy to have in this line of like, well, who actually deserves it and does it really matter kind of thing at this point. And then they just kind of end it. And that, or I think they do, which I think would be cool, but I doubt they do it, is maybe a lot of people die. Maybe a lot of people kind of give up on this whole throne idea. It gets destroyed. King's Landing is pretty much in ruin at this point.
Yeah.
Jaime has to go through all this shit and basically, again, hitting that tragic arc. He goes and sits on the throne to rule nothing, basically. And then that's just like his ending, is he's just has nothing left. He sits on it. It's all destroyed. There's nothing else there. Or whoever's still alive is up in Winterfell because they, like Jon or somebody, whoever is, they're not worried about coming down there. And I don't know. I think, and then my third is if anyone sits on the throne, like a true, like ruling, more of a happy ending. I hate to say it, but I agree with Tony. I was gonna say Sansa Stark, which I absolutely hate. But
well, I think they could turn it into a decent arc using that whole kind of reluctant, not quite, super monarch thing.
Yeah.
But it's gotta be like there has to be none of that fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And honestly, like if you think about her arc and like all the she's always been so close to, like, in the very beginning of the show, the only thing that she wanted to be the queen, right?
Yeah.
And then she learned what it would act like, what it took, and what that took from her was all those desires. And then to round out her story, basically saying, no, I absolutely do not want that. And then being forced to take it is kind of like a good arc for her. And it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Even though I don't want that to happen.
It makes sense on why she stayed alive this whole time.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to do some rapid fire? I'm going to take tallies here, and then we can look at them at the end of everything, just to see by a majority consensus whether or not we thought that characters were going to live or die.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay. I'm still writing them down, so
so talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, if someone wants to bring up another point or something real quick, as I just fill out the list a bit more.
So you're on Greyjoy.
Is a cock.
I think that he's currently going to get the third sons or the second, whatever the
Golden Company.
The Golden Company right now. Do you think that he makes it to Westeros with the Golden Company?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think that plays into this battle being a very big thing.
Okay.
They made a point, Cersei made a point to say something and something about elephants. I think they're looking for a way to introduce elephants into war.
And which means that they're going to add undead elephants. Got it.
Absolutely.
Because I think that the Golden
surprised.
Company will be the first ones dead.
Oh.
I don't think that they're going to make it to any war. I think that they may be marching north, and then the White Walkers get them, and because they're definitely not prepared for that.
See, I think that actually be a cool way for Euron to go down. Like, he's up there with his ships. Maybe he's trying to, like, sail away, and then that's when the Night King brings the dragon and just wrecks them all.
That could be cool.
And satisfying, right? Like,
Sure. Any way that you kill Euron Greyjoy would be satisfying.
Is satisfying.
To me.
I don't know.
because he thinks he's going to get away. He thinks he's going to run and, like, be in the water and be safe.
I think that he will drop off the Golden Company, and I think that he will be gone. I think that he will leave his 1,000 fleet men, and I think he's going to run to somewhere else, just like he did before.
But why bring the Golden Company at all then?
It's got holes, Tony. It's got holes.
I think maybe he brings the Golden Company to King's Landing, and he stays with Cersei in King's Landing for a little while. I don't think he's going to join the fight up in the north.
Okay.
And I think that we'll see some inner turmoil between their budding relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe Cersei will kick him out. It could be a thing that she does.
All right, I've got to, again, it's not possible for this to be every character, nor do we have time to do that. But I've written what I think are a lot of big ones and a couple interesting side characters. And just to burn through this real quick, I say we establish protocol here. I am going to introduce the name of the character. and then we'll just go Hans, Jeremy, Rob. In order, you just say dead or alive. I'll make a tally, and then I'll make the final one and move on to the next character.
And I got a little surprise for everyone.
Ooh.
We got a guest player to the game.
Oh, shit. Is it the elusive?
It is the ever elusive Jenna. Is gonna
What's
play.
up, guys?
Hi, Jenna.
Oh, my gosh, Jenna.
We just
I'm
got
here to
another
win.
2 views for this episode.
J girl. All right, this is actually good because now there can't be a tie. So we'll have decisive answers here no matter what.
So what's the order? Let's go again.
Okay, so now let's go Hans, Jenna, Jeremy, Rob.
Okay.
So then I will just say a character and then me. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know me.
Dead or alive?
Do I have to go first every time? That's brutal.
Suck it up.
Yeah. Quick
We'll do it
decision.
for a few and then we'll switch it up. But the idea is to just keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
okay. No. Tell you what about this? We'll keep that order of the circle, but we can switch it up. So it's like Hans, you go first the first time. Jenna goes first the second time. Then Jeremy.
We're gonna fuck that up, but let's
Yeah.
just do
We'll fuck anything up.
it. Let's just guarantee that.
All right. Dead or alive at the end of season 8? Davos.
Dead.
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 Alive.
Alive. The Hound. Jenna.
Dead.
Alive.
Dead.
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 Jon Snow. Jeremy.
Alive.
Dead.
Dead.
Alive.
Alive.
Daenerys Targaryen. Rob.
Alive.
Dead.
Dead.
Alive.
Dead.
Tyrion Lannister. Dead.
Alive.
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 Jeremy, what'd you say?
I said alive. My bad, Jenna.
Okay. You're good. Sansa Stark. Hans.
Alive.
Dead.
Dead.
Alive.
Alive. Arya Stark.
Alive. Although I did really like that Clegane Bowl theory.
It was a good one.
Alive.
Dead.
Dead.
Dead. Bran. Or the three-eyed raven.
The artist formerly known
Whatever
as
the hell it means.
I think he's dead.
It's Jenna's turn.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so
I
shut
got
the
excited about that one.
I would say alive.
I'm gonna say alive.
Dead.
I think from a physical sense he's dead. So I'll put dead.
Already
Hans,
said
you
dead.
said dead? Okay. Jaime Lannister. Jeremy.
It's me, right? Alive.
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 Ooh, unanimous.
It's our first unanimous one. Ooh.
Yeah, he's definitely dead.
Cersei Lannister.
Dead.
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 Alive.
Jeremy.
Dead.
Jenna. Come on.
We all know
So
that
close.
Skank's gonna die.
All right, maybe we can do it here. The Mountain. Dead.
Dead again, I suppose.
Dead.
True.
Dead.
Dead.
Ding, 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 ding. Brienne of Tarth. Hans.
Dead.
Alive.
Alive. Oh, sorry, Jeremy. I went before.
Fine. Dead.
I think she's dead too. Euron Greyjoy. Jenna.
I hope dead.
Ooh, that's the correct
Dead.
answer there.
Alive.
No.
Dead.
Dead.
That might have been out of
I gotta prepare mentally to answer this one. Theon Greyjoy.
Oh.
Jeremy.
Alive.
dead.
Alive.
No. He's dead.
I really hope dead.
More than Euron? With that statement, I just have
Yes.
to ask. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yara Greyjoy. I think Rob.
Dead.
Alive.
Dead.
Alive.
I would say alive.
Ah, crap. Because there wouldn't be any Greyjoy. I feel like they're not going to wipe out the Greyjoys, though, completely.
Yeah, that's why they're gonna keep Euron.
All right, this one's gonna be tough, y'all. This one might be tough to swallow. Sir Bronn of the Blackwater.
Oh,
I don't
I
remember.
think it's
You actually, I
Hans.
think.
It's. Let's say it's Hans. I don't want to start.
I feel like I've said dead way too many. There's no one left in my world.
I think Hans
mine
is
too.
killing off everyone at this point. Except for Jamie.
I'm just going to go alive. Even though, yeah, I'm going to mix it up.
I'll say dead.
I'll say alive.
I think alive.
Jamie ain't alone if Bronn's around. He's dead.
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah.
Jeremy's favorite character, Gendry.
You know what?
You know, the one in Winterhelm.
Winter fell.
Jenna. Gendry.
Dead.
Alive.
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 Yeah, I do think he's alive.
Jeremy. Varys.
Dead.
Man, I don't really see a way that he dies or lives. I
know, which is why I'm going dead, because I feel like he's going to die. Then.
I'm gonna say dead.
I feel like Varys only dies to give Tyrion something, and I'm very confident Tyrion dies, so I'm going to say Varys is alive.
I'm also going to say alive.
Dead.
All right. Khaleesi. It's Jorah Mormont time, Rob.
I think alive.
I think he's alive, too.
Yeah, I think he's alive, but only because Daenerys dies. If
Yeah.
Daenerys lives, Jorah definitely dies. So, with my current theory, Jorah stays alive.
I say alive.
I say alive.
Ooh.
Nice.
Ding, ding. That is not one I expected to be unanimous.
So we got
at all.
Jamie and Jorah.
Mostly because
My last-
I don't even think I agreed with myself.
My last three are still alive.
Well, Jamie, Jorah, and the Mountain.
Well, but we kill the mountain, so it doesn't
We
really
do kill the Mountain. That's true. All right, Samwell Tarly. I think that Sam. I don't think it. Matt. I think he's alive. Sure. Sam can live.
I don't really see. No, it's not my turn.
I think he's alive.
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 I'm gonna say alive
Ding, ding, ding.
because it seems like it would be brutal for them to. Because wherever Sam is, Gilly and Sam the baby are gonna be, and it feels.
So we're all
it
saying that
feels,
Gilly's alive too. Then
Feels brutal that they would kill a baby and the mother on the show.
Yeah, I didn't put. Here, let's do it right now, just because I disagree with you, Jeremy. Gilly.
is it mine? Should I
I-
start with it?
I don't
Sure.
know whose turn
Fuck
it is.
it.
Yeah, start it.
I'm gonna say alive.
Alive.
Dead.
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 Bro, you guys are cold hearted.
think-
Killing Gilly?
I think Sam's raising that baby on his own.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put it down. Lil Sam. Rob.
Alive.
Alive.
Yeah, I gotta say alive.
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 It's just a little too dark. Grey Worm, I think, is dead. No, I changed my mind. I think he's alive. Was not confident on that one.
I think he dies.
Still am not confident.
I think alive.
Dead.
Jeremy?
I'm gonna say alive.
Here's the only thing that made me change my answer real quick. As I break my own rules and break from the rapid fire format. Gray, nobody has ever taken Dany up on the many times that she has said, "You are not. I am not your master. You can leave at any point." Like blah blah blah. You're not beholden to me. I want you to serve me. They've made it a big point to say that people can walk away if things are going wrong, and I think that that'll be a big push as some people leave there. I don't know. On the topic of Grey Worm, Attached by the tongue nowadays. Missandei. I think Jenna.
Alive.
This is where I struggle because I feel like their arcs are good enough done, so I'm gonna say dead.
Okay.
I think it's the opposite of the way Jeremy feels on a character that doesn't have as much importance. I think those ones are going to live. So I think Missandei's living.
I think that we don't really have many, if any, sort of happy cohabitative endings thus far. I think that's a good one that people are into enough, but isn't like major to the story. I think she lives.
Yeah, I think she lives too.
The man with the magic dick, Podrick Payne. Jeremy.
Alive.
Oh, sorry, that's me. Dead saving Tyrion.
Ooh.
Not dead saving Brienne.
I think it's opposite. I think if Brienne doesn't go down for Sansa, she goes down for him. So I
Yeah.
say he's alive.
Yeah, I think he's an easy one to keep alive.
Dead.
Dead. All right. And the last one on my list, but you guys can feel free to add some more if you think there are pertinent ones. The Night King. I think Jeremy.
Dead.
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 Ooh, we are so wrong.
Hey, I've got one to add.
Please.
Drogon.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't we all say all three dragons are dead?
Yeah, I think I'll...
We did, but I want to.
Oh, good point. Good point.
We got an extra guest here.
Okay,
I
Good
don't
point.
think so.
so
think-
I
I
will
think
say...
Drogon lives.
I will say dead.
Ooh. Okay. I will say dead.
Yeah,
Dead.
I'm dead.
Okay. But you think now? Do you think the any of the other dragons stick around?
Not the one that's on the Night King's side. That one dies.
He's
for
kind of
sure.
got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Rhaegal, the other living dragon? Think he goes?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll
Dragon
put
stays.
that.
So we
one
got
down,
two
too.
dragons staying.
3, 4.
So again, not to monopolize this thing here, but I kind of want to throw in who I assume is still alive, Ghost.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Ghost. Dead.
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 Dead. Yeah.
I'm alive.
I mean, at this point, if we even see him in this season, it's a miracle. I think he's got to go. I think Nymeria also dies, for what it's worth. I think we'll see her die.
Hot pie.
Ed Sheeran.
Gosh. If he dies before that fourth album drops, he'll
He
be
comes
so
back to
heartbroken.
win it all.
Ed Sheeran sits on the Iron Throne. I sang it during that episode even. It's going to come true. Any are we missing any like big characters? I'm sure we are.
Tormund.
Okay.
Tormund. Yeah.
Tormund. I don't know when I started writing this list in cursive, but somewhere down the line I did. And now I can't read it. All right, Tormund. Jenna.
Dead.
Dead.
Alive.
I think he is dead, so dead.
Alive.
Okay.
Any of the other Brotherhood without banners?
Here, how about
Varric or not Beric
Varric Targaryen.
Varric Targaryen.
Beric Dendarian or whatever his name is.
All right,
Barrick.
give me Beric, Jeremy.
I'm gonna say dead.
Rob.
Alive.
Again, he is dead, so dead.
Yeah, I'm gonna say not agreeing with Tony in the way he's saying it, but I'm gonna say dead. I'm thinking I'm kind of on that the whole magic mystical stuff's going down.
I'll say dead.
Okay.
Oh,
Here I gotta. We couldn't kill Lil Sam. Can we kill Lyanna Mormont?
that's exactly what I was gonna bring up.
Lyanna is alive.
I agree.
Yeah, alive.
Alive.
Yeah, alive.
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay,
Damn.
so we have a little bit of foreshadowing with this character, but the Red
foreplay?
Woman,
Ooh,
because
yes,
she said
that's
she
a
has
big
to
one.
return to that continent to die, but
Melisandre. Dead.
Yeah, dead.
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 Ding ding. Damn. I think that's our, except for the mountain, our first unanimous death. Oh, and the Night King.
Yeah. Is there anyone else?
So let me just, here, I'll pull up a list of, now this is going to be every character who's just ever given a name. Game of Thrones characters.
I didn't realize there were so many freaking characters left until we started going down this list.
Yeah.
It's true, there are a lot.
Like what about Jack?
I mean, we could get Jack and Hagar coming back.
Well, no, we can't because Jaqen doesn't exist.
Right.
I
Exactly.
don't even think he's mentioned in the season.
Okay, all right, here. I got one. Dario Naharis.
Ooh.
I think he's
See,
alive.
I don't think we get him.
I
at
don't
all
think we
in
see
season
him,
8.
yeah. So I'll say alive.
I'll say alive.
Yeah, I don't think we see him either, so I'll say alive.
I'll say dead.
Nice, alive.
I respect that.
What about the Maester in King's Landing? Qyburn.
The guy that's not
Yeah.
Maester.
Yeah, the guy's not a Maester.
Qyburn is hella dead.
Yeah, he's got to go down. He's dead.
Yeah.
Dead.
Dead.
Dead. Yeah. Just trying to think who kills him. How's he die?
I think he just dies.
I think the Hound throws him off like a.
Seeing how he would die,
a
I mean,
castle.
it's maybe there is a wildfire explosion or a dragonfire explosion or whatever, and maybe he's part of that causes it or something.
It could be.
You know,
It could
finally karma catching up with them.
I kind of like the. I don't. It can't be meaningful for anyone, so I do think it kind of has to be in a situation
Yeah.
semi like that. I'm gonna. Unless anyone has any last addendums here to this,
I think that's all the characters.
just because everyone.
I'm not confident on about 90% of my answers.
Yeah, I was up in the
I
air.
think that's what the beautiful thing about it is.
Yeah, I think the scores on this is going to be great.
Are you gonna keep track for us, Tony? When the show
Of who, if whether or not majority wins or not. Yeah, I will absolutely keep track.
It's like our version of March Madness.
I wrote it all down, so we've got it. Well, actually, I mean, I didn't write who voted for what.
Yeah, that would be a bit much, but
I just wrote majority rules basically, but I'm sure we'll remember. We can always look back.
I think for the ones that we care about, we'll remember.
Exactly.
Did you see the late night with Arya and for the whole like April Fool's Day thing?
I don't want to know about it because they said that she spoiled a bunch of stuff.
Well, no, it was like an April Fool's thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it made my heart drop.
Yeah, when she said "I die" in episode 2, I was like,
She played it very well.
She
Because
did
the second
such
she
a
said
good
it,
job.
the second she said it, I did not buy it. But then the way they played it into it, she did very well.
It was smart. Yeah.
Fuck.
Now, when she dies in episode 2,
Yeah.
it's going to be even better.
Sluts. Well, that's Do you guys have any? Have we tackled all of Olivia's questions? We're kind of
Yeah.
really at length here.
Oh yeah.
It was good.
But I think we've established the fates of all major characters. Any big twists or anything? Jenna, just because you just recently popped in here, what are your thoughts as far as, do you have anybody sitting on the throne at the end?
I'm hoping for Daenerys.
Oh, okay.
It's fair.
Yeah, I think you're the only person that said that.
Yeah, we all killed
I don't have any evidence or theories. Just hoping for Daenerys.
I think if it happens, if it's done right, I'm not opposed to it.
I mean, I think we're all kind of hoping for Jon and Daenerys to rule the Seven Kingdoms together and be the saviors of the realm. But do we really think that's going to happen? No.
Would you be disappointed? Because I wouldn't be disappointed, actually, if that actually happened. If it was a nice, happy ending, I'd be like, oh, that's cool.
It would be such
not gonna happen,
It would be such a 360 for the series.
Yeah.
It's got to be, I mean, there has to be a pretty hefty level of bittersweetness to
Yeah.
it, I think. But
Maybe John gets, maybe John loses his arms, and then he's like, You know? Like just a beanpole.
Yeah,
Then he's
you're
like,
right.
I still love you, John, even though you can't touch me the way you used to touch me.
Maybe John loses his arm.
And then John is like, but I can still make love to you, and that's how it like fades to black.
Oh.
Can you put that down for one of my predictions?
That's the bittersweet ending we've all been hoping for. John loses his arms.
I just like that the expression beanpole came out of that somewhere.
You know, he's just like one little pole.
Jon Snow, the Black Knight. This has been Thrones and Scones. This has been our final episode before season 8, which is on Sunday. Have we decided when we're going to air these episodes yet? From the
Wednesday, Friday, or do you mean the?
No, I mean,
I see.
So for Sunday's episode, we obviously cannot air it on Sunday.
No, absolutely not.
Did we say a day?
I think Wednesday.
Nice in the middle there.
You just can't do Thursday. That's when my podcast comes out.
We would not dream of it.
We would always piggyback off of you anyway. Don't worry about it.
Let's say tentatively Wednesday it is. And speaking of course, people should know by now, but Rob, your podcast is a thing.
Yeah. And Rob's your uncle. ARYUsite.com if you want to give us a listen.
And Jenna, your podcast?
Yeah, Jenna, what's your podcast?
This is my first podcast, guys.
You've done better than Jeremy, and this is his 80th. So
True story.
I'm kidding, bud.
One other thing,
Oh,
Tony, tell me how that maple gingerbread's going.
oh, I would be happy to tell you. Tis a craving that my lips thought of, not in a season.
And
where
I
it
don't
would
want
be
to take up
appropriate
all
to
your
eat it.
time, but that's all we have for Scones.
Oh, we letting that son of a bitch into our show? You gotta be fucking kidding me. He comes on like 4 episodes, acts like he fucking runs our podcast. So much smarter, wittier than us.
Is this what that feels like?
Yeah. Cock, take it in.
My world just shattered around me into tiny little bits of flaky pastry.
Yeah, and Jenna, your scones look great, by the way. You keep that up. They look fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. What was your favorite scone you made, by the way?
Are you down with GOT?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
you know me.
That broke my heart, Rob.
I wasn't ready for that.
I'm sorry. I had to do it to someone.
Yeah, we usually only interrupt Jeremy.
Jeremy made me laugh real hard today. I had to stick up for him.
It wasn't even gonna be. I was getting ready to go like, oh yeah, it wasn't even a seasonally appropriate one. But you know what? I decided to do it. And it was all
You
right.
could do it now and then just cut me
Well,
out.
it's too late.
No, it was good. It was too good. It was great, actually.
That scone was killer though. They were delicious. Lots of molasses in the scones.
Interesting.
They were tacky little suckers to make, but they turned out very good.
Did you add a lot of sugar to counterbalance how like bitter the molasses is?
I mean, molasses is just sugar, so
Oh,
I don't think there was
but
any
I feel like
actual
it's so
sugar.
like I don't know. I don't enjoy the flavor of it very much.
Yeah. Well, I usually try not to eat it by itself because it's terrible. Oh, that was a very pleasant surprise, Jenna. Thank you for gracing us with your voice.
Thank you.
Do you have any tales that you'd like to share here in this beautiful post-episode world?
Any what?
Tails.
Any tales any yarns you might like to spin, milady?
No, I'm too elusive to share.
Oh, that's fair. You give and you take.
Her skills are pretty crazy. You're actually going to listen back to this recording, and her voice is just not going to be there. It's just going to be gone.
Is it
We're
going to
gonna
be
be
someone
talking to
else, or
no
it's
one.
just going to be nothing?
Just nothing.
It's going to sound like we're crazy people. Jenna's voice is just at the perfect frequency that mics can't pick it up.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised I'm not. If I make the cut for the episode, they might just cut me for for cutting out Tony. Cutting off Tony.
That's true. You know what? Actually, scrap these past 2 hours. I'm pissed. Fuck this podcast. Fuck you guys. I'm deleting the webpage right now. All of our dozens of viewers are going to be so distraught.